It's very challenging going into an industry that you know very little about. Something like boat building, I didn't grow up in an area where it was a very commonly pursued. It is daunting going into a totally new environment. None of the work that I've done before really prepared me for going into the boat building industry, and so walking in on the first day and realising you're going to have to learn things like joinery, which I've got no experience in, is a challenge. But thankfully the instruction has been so good, and we're never sort of left to just fend for ourselves, so it hasn't been so much of a challenge that it's become impossible to complete.
The apprenticeship here is quite unique in terms of we actually deliver the whole apprenticeship scheme here on site. So there's no, traditional apprenticeships, and the guys normally have a year at college first and then they come back. Here we do it all in-house. So the beauty of that is the guys are here permanently. We have a tutor that comes in twice a week to assess them, to understand their progress, and it's really fantastic for the guys because they're straight in from day one, earning money and learning on the job. The guys train in every aspect of the boat build, from GRP all the way through to joinery, to engineering, to electrical, to final installation. The guys get to do the whole thing. Every 12 weeks they move to a different area, so by the time they finish their apprenticeship they're a fully rounded boat builder, and then they can got that skills for life.
We write our own programming in-house, and everything can be controlled remotely from your mobile phone or our control centre here at Cockwells. We can monitor all of our vessels, so technologically they may well look traditional, but the boats are super high tech. And from a building point of view, it's a much nicer environment for our employees. We're using much more resin infusion, which means that the guys don't work with the chemicals in the same way as they were doing 30 years ago. The boats are stronger, lighter, they use less fuel effectively. So we're using green materials, so a lot of the sort of fibres and the resins are plant-based, and the engines are, they're all to the latest specification, which means they produce less emissions. So ultimately, the trick is to build something that looks beautiful but encompasses all of the modern technology that the world has to offer today.
At Cockwells, we really appreciate the skills that our neurodiverse employees bring to the workplace, and so we're really keen to look at ways of changing our processes and procedures so that we can recruit and retain a kind of more diverse set of skills and talents. I think that a lack of awareness of neurodiversity is a very big barrier for people within the workplace, and at Cockwells we're kind of really keen to change that. So we're planning on introducing a training program as part of our induction process, which just sort of helps people to understand, how people's brains work differently and how that may affect behaviour within the workplace, to sort of encourage a greater understanding and, also reduce any stigma that might be attached to those labels.
It's been super having them. Certainly having two different points of support is really valuable to deal with, not just the apprenticeship itself but also the challenges simply of living and working down here, and knowing that there is a support structure in place is really reassuring. It's a 4-year commitment, which is a very long time when you're quite young, and knowing that there is a very good support structure in place is really reassuring.
For me, I'm a really big advocate for apprenticeships, and a prime example of that is I myself started my career as an apprentice toolmaker in a precision engineering business, and I'm now the general manager here, managing director here at Cockwells. So anybody that gets that core skill, they've then got the opportunity to progress within that company, and also if you want to do a degree later in life you can, which is what I did. You can do that, and there's always opportunities here within Cockwells to go from from an apprentice to a team leader to a supervisor to a manager. You know, for me, the best managers that I've ever worked with have all come through an apprentice route. So for me, it's critical that we get these guys on board, and the opportunities are endless once they get that skill.